So let's start by sitting up comfortably. Simple instruction. Of course, anytime that what was comfortable starts becoming uncomfortable, do whatever you need to do to be comfortable again, because life is too short to spend it suffering, especially suffering in the name of enlightenment. Doesn't make sense. Okay. Let's start with something that some of you have done with me before, I believe, which is the buzzing bee breath, the buzzing bee breath. So the simple version, and let me demonstrate first, because don't start doing it till I tell you, because then you won't be able to hear me giving more instructions. Okay, so the simple version is you close your eyes, you with your thumbs, you close your ears. You don't stick the tips of your thumbs in your ears, you use the flat of your thumbs to close the flaps of your ears. And you take a nice deep breath and you bring your lips together and leave your teeth a little bit apart, and you hum like a buzzing bee, like this. So let's do one of those, and then I'll give you the fancy version. Okay, so nice deep breath. Close your eyes, close the flaps of your ears. And I'm going to make an adjustment to my sound here so that my mic can hopefully pick up the sound better without cutting out. So one more time. Okay. Now the fancy version, and you may notice, first of all, before I go on, you may notice that this really kind of brings you inside. It's a kind of an instant cave, instant, especially when there's been a lot going on. Our eyes are taking in so many images, so much information, decoding, all that alphanumeric information on screens. Our ears are hearing all this stuff, all this, want some shelter, want some refuge. This is kind of instant shelter. It's very soothing to the nervous system, very conducive to kind of coming temporarily out of this chaotic outer world and into a simpler inner world. Now, the slightly fancier version is, and the simple version is fine, it's all you need. The slightly fancier version is, it's the same, the mouth is the same with the teeth slightly apart, the lips together, the thumbs are still closing, the flaps of the ears. But in this case, we're also going to, when we close the eyes, put our hands over the eyes, and the index fingers are supposed to rest above the eyebrows, and the other fingers can just go lightly on the eyelids. So you're really kind of going into the cave. So let's sit up comfortably, close the eyes, and we'll do 3 of those. Okay, here we go. And allow the hands to drop lightly to your lap or your knees, whatever's comfortable. And just leave everything as it is. Not trying to change anything. When do we start the meditation? Well, we don't. Nothing to start. Rather than, put the key in the ignition and start up our little meditation car, let's just sit back in the seat, roll down the window, throw the keys out the window, and stay right where we are. And just enjoy the scenery right where we are. Without having to drive anywhere, what do we experience right here? You might feel the seat under your butt. You might feel the temperature in the room, whether cool or warm. You might see subtle colors shifting and dancing behind your eyelids. We're not trying to see any of this stuff, experience any of it. We're not monitoring it. We're not trying to be mindful of it. I'm just pointing out stuff that you might or might not happen to notice. And whatever you happen to notice, whatever scenery is there, just kick back and enjoy it, leaving it exactly as it is. You might notice sounds, including this voice, coming and going. You might notice that the comings and the goings of the sound of this voice and any other sounds that come and go happen completely independent of you. We don't decide when the next sound will happen. See what I mean? Or what the next sound will be. So we're not in charge. Just sitting here in our parked car enjoying the scenery. Nowhere to go, no way to get there. And as the sounds and sensations, maybe the colors come and go on their own, we probably notice thoughts coming and going. And we can notice that thoughts come and go completely on their own, just like sounds and sensations. Nothing special about them. Nothing wrong with them. So there's nothing to do about thoughts. We don't try to push them away or choose the good ones versus the bad ones, or we don't prefer fewer to more. It's just stuff coming and going. We just hardly take notice of it. It's just, yeah, whatever's there. Whatever's there, just rest aware. That's simple. Whatever's there, just rest aware. When you realize that you've gone off on some long train of thoughts, that's fine. You haven't gone anywhere. That's all been happening right here within this same awareness. Can't be anywhere else. So when you realize that, there's nothing to get rid of, there's nowhere to get back to. Just wherever you are, relax right there. Relax back into this awareness. Whatever's there, just rest aware. It's always that simple. All the different experiences that come and go within our awareness, the sounds, the colors, the thoughts, also the feelings, whether it's a sad feeling, a happy feeling, tranquil feeling, restless feeling, doesn't matter. The feelings are just like different sounds, different colors. All these things that come and go within the awareness. We can call them for now objects. They're different objects of awareness. A color is one kind of object, a thought is another kind of object, but they're all objects of awareness. They're all things we're aware of. And they all have different qualities, different shapes and textures and so forth. So there's all these objects moving around in awareness. And then there's awareness itself. The sort of the field, the open space within which the objects come and go. And that's the one thing that doesn't come and go, because it's not a thing. It's not an object. Everything else is an object. Only awareness, like open space, completely free, is not an object, has no qualities. And is always right here. We can't see it because there's nothing to see. We can't hear it or feel it because there's nothing about it to hear or feel. But it's where we've been seeing from, hearing and feeling from all our lives. Just this open space of awareness within which all the objects come and go, all by themselves. So still there's nothing to do here. Just pointing out what's already there and resting in the middle of it, just as it is. Just resting as space-like awareness. Awareness without an object. Awareness complete, free in itself. And by the way, objects keep coming and going within it, but they don't affect it. Because it's like space. Space is not affected by the objects that move around in it. So just rest aware. Whatever's there, just rest aware. Still that simple. Anytime you feel yourself straining or trying, resisting something, holding on to something, just relax your grip on it, whatever it is. Just relax back into this space-like awareness. This awareness of awareness, awareness without an object. Wide open like space to whatever objects frictionlessly pass through it. Letting it all take care of itself. Whatever's there, just rest aware. Now keep the eyes closed and take a few minutes to start gently bringing the body back to a more active state. Kind of like waking up from a long nap. Start shifting around in your chair, maybe wiggling your fingers and toes, maybe hunch your shoulders up and down, roll your head. Might feel like rubbing your forehead or gently rubbing your eyes or face, squeezing your hands together. Maybe twist your trunk, stretch your limbs. And when you feel ready, when the body feels ready, just slowly crack the eyes open. Okay, how are people doing? Any questions? First, any questions about meditation itself, about whatever we just did there? Pretty simple, right? What did we do? What did we do? Not much. Not much. Right? We did a little something on our way in, and this time for our on ramp, we did the buzzing bees. Any questions or comments? Any observations about the bee's breath? Okay, let me unmute Maria. Hold on, I will unmute you. Maybe you have to. Oh, I got you. Okay, yes.
Yeah, it was inviting me to unmute.
Okay.
What I found really interesting is because it's different from the meditation practice I normally do. There was something about the bee's breath really helped my system just drop down
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I was really surprised. And then added to a lot of the comments you made were like really this in terms of like, don't need to focus on this, do this, just
Mm-hmm.
there was there was a roominess too. So those two
Mm-hmm.
things seem to work really well for me as opposed to the more structured approach.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, you got it. Those two. Thank you. Those both of those points. First of all, the bee's breath. This is our particular little on ramp tonight, and we've got dozens of them, and any of them that you find to be um, effective, that you felt, oh, this one is really soothing to my system, then great, use it. Um, and then also you may want to try out some of the others. Uh, but anytime you find something that works for you, um, and then there may, you will read sometimes or you'll hear from people, oh, to enter meditation properly, you have to fill in the blank, right? You have to turn the tip of your tongue to this particular point in your palate. You have to have your eyes, and that may be something that's worked very nicely for them. Or maybe it hasn't been working very nicely, but they've been working so hard at it for so long that they feel foolish giving up on it now. Uh, so, I would say be open to things, but don't, as one of my teachers said to me many years ago, never let anyone talk you out of your own experience. Okay? So that's the one thing. Then the second thing, the meditation itself, as you said, yeah, it's not structured. It's not. It's not effortful. It's not a matter of focus on this or try to do that or include this or exclude that. It's just noticing that we're already aware, right? You're aware right now. You're always already aware. Nothing we have to do to uh, um, to be aware. We can't help being aware, and we just rest in that. And yet, did you notice that just resting in this situation as it already is, there is a tendency to continue to settle down?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the secret of what we call natural meditation. The secret is that settling happens. We can't make settling happen because all our efforts to make settling happen are unsettling. Right. Okay. Well, you just laughed because you had the aha moment. Remember this moment, please. Right? Any effort to create a non-agitated state of mind is a form of agitation. And that's why you hear over and over, and why you experience when you try to meditate in less natural ways, you experience, oh, meditation's hard, meditation's difficult. And when we stop trying and just hang out in awareness, then the mind's natural tendency to go home, to settle in, the tendency of awareness always wants to know itself, so to speak. Awareness, we want to, everything we're doing all the time, we're looking for that ah, and we're looking for it out in all the objects of awareness. But it turns out that the ultimate is awareness itself. So when given a chance, and we give it a chance, we create the initial conditions, the conducive conditions, by just hanging out, and okay, everything's there, everything's coming and going, not trying to block anything out, not particularly trying to monitor it or evaluate it or manipulate it, then the settling happens all by itself. Sometimes very dramatically, sometimes less dramatically. That's none of our business. It takes care of itself. Okay?
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Really glad to have you aboard here, Maria. Okay, let me. So who else? Okay, let me go to Tova. Yeah, Tova.
I really enjoyed the bees experience. It felt like I was going into a cave of my own self, and there was nothing there. And it really was an exceptional experience for me.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Yeah, and this stuff, this is meditative technology. This is the real technology. This stuff, and no, I keep seeing more apps, and I mean there may be great stuff on the apps, I don't know, but you know, in equipment someone's always trying to sell you something to strap around your head or stick in your ears or something that's gonna I don't know, harmonize your, you know, tune your brain waves to the however many hertz that, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm an old fashioned guy. I like to have stuff that you know, it doesn't require equipment. You don't, you, wherever you are, you got it.
So does it come from any Tibetan or something?
This comes from the yogic tradition of India.
India?
Yeah, but you know that doesn't mean it's Indian. As far as I know, maybe Tibetans do it too. Maybe Christian mystics in Turkey do it too. I don't know. You know, but actually, Yafa and I learned this at an Ayurvedic retreat, which is, you know, Ayurvedic practices are in the yogic tradition of India.
Thank you.
Sure, you bet. Okay, and Esther.
Hi, I really liked that as well. That was a great meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, because I was definitely not asleep, whether everyone else jumps out of their skin when you ring the bell.
Are you asking, does everyone else jump out of their skin?
I'm asking you and everyone, does anyone else experience that? I mean, I nearly jumped out of my skin when you rang the bell.
Oh,
So,
I see.
okay, so I was probably pretty deeply gone.
Uh-huh.
If I jump, I mean, really.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
In past meditations with you, sometimes your voice has done that in the middle when you've suddenly spoken, and then I'll jump like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what happened to me now with the bell ringing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was actually a lovely meditation. And it's interesting that a plane takes off every 15 minutes here, but I never heard them today.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard the sounds of the aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it noise.
Yeah, sound. Right. Good. You remember that from last time. We call it sound rather than noise, less judgmental. Let you know that language can be so sneaky. Let me
noise as well. I've heard you refer to it as noise once.
Yeah. I mean, language is, you know, the phrase that I said many times tonight in the meditation, whatever's there, just rest aware. And I'm always looking for, you know, just memorable thing. In this case, it rhymes. You know, if it rhymes, it must be true.
You did. I know,
right?
you did.
Yeah. And I like to make things simple and memorable. And I try to make them bulletproof. I try to make them so that there's no way to distort it or misinterpret it. There's always a way. People always find a way. Right? In fact, once years ago, I'd been leading meditations and using that phrase a lot. And there was a person that was sort of being trained by me and had sat in a lot of meditations and heard me say that, you know, probably, you know, 100, 200 times, whatever's there, just rest aware. And then that person was going to lead a meditation, and I was going to just sit in and listen and, you know, maybe make whatever comments to them privately afterward. And they start leading the meditation and they say, whatever's there, just rest aware of it. Okay. Now, can you hear how that's a little bit different?
You didn't have to put of it in.
Of it. And can you hear how even adding that of it kind of opens the door to mischief?
Yes.
That opens the door to, oh, I'm supposed to be monitoring all the things, whatever, monitoring the things that are there.
It's an it.
Yes, it becomes it. It puts the focus more on the objects of awareness rather than just objectless awareness itself. So, yeah. Yeah, and as far as your main point, okay, and it's interesting because You know, if I ring the same bell right now in the same way, you
It
probably
is,
didn't jump out of your skin.
but a bit I did, a
Yeah,
little.
yeah. And
But,
that's because you're settled down in meditation. You're set
okay, that's
because
good.
because as say it again.
That's good, isn't it?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
done.
yeah. So the as the awareness is uh, because we're more settled, uh, uh, something that might not seem loud or startling seems louder, might seem more startling, might or might not. So fine, good, all is
Interesting.
well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you bet. Okay, so Judy, hi Judy.
Hi. Thank you very much. It was nice meditation. And I did do the buzzing bee thing on your website the other
Mm-hmm.
night and found it really nice. It's so simple, but it works really well.
Yeah.
I kind of had a question. I have various physical problems
Mm-hmm.
that cause pain. And sometimes in meditation, I'm distracted quite a bit by that. And I've been told that overall meditation can be very beneficial for things like that. But can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, good. Yeah, thank you for raising that. That's an important question and one that's um, it's a question that can be important to a lot of people, and you know, if not now, maybe sometime in the future, because we're all in these bodies, we're all in these carbon-based organisms, and we're all prone to various kinds of damage, some of it painful. So, a few things on this point. First thing is that in an overall way, I want to start with the most general kind of perspective on this. In general, meditation is healing to the body. Okay. When the mind settles down, the body settles down along with it. Mind and body are always connected. And being settled, being in this deep state of rest, is healing to the body. This is why, you know, when you're ill or when you're injured, the doctor might say, okay, do this therapy or take this medication, but she also says, and get plenty of rest, because it's, you know, speaking in a kind of a general way, when we're engaged in a lot of activity, all our metabolism is in a more aroused state, and our energy, so to speak, is going outward into the activities. In a state of rest, we're withdrawn from the activity, so that energy is more available to, so to speak, just remain inwards and use that energy to for the body to heal itself.
Yeah, that's been my experience.
Say it again.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, yeah. A
Correct.
lot. I mean, over the years, um, I knew a woman once years ago. Um, she was a jazz singer actually, and she had sung with the Harry, I think the Harry James band in the old days. So, I mean, way back. Um, and she was in a terrible traffic accident on a highway in California, and you know, they scraped her off the pavement, didn't expect her to survive. And but she was a, you know, she was a meditation teacher, and she just started meditating like around the clock. And the doctors, the nursing staff, everyone there were so amazed by the way that she healed, that they all started meditation.
Mm.
So, and then another thing is the um, whatever's going on in the body, the the attitude, the psychology of being with that, of living with that, however it is and however it improves or doesn't improve. And you know, my personal story on this was Maggie, my first wife, uh, when she was going through colon cancer, her first time around. Um, and of course, she had to go for chemo and sit there for, long periods on a regular basis. So, she was an expert on just sitting in a chair, as we call it, meditation. And again, everyone on the oncology staff was so impressed by her attitude, just how graceful and gracious she was, her sense of humor through the whole thing, that they started asking her, "What are you doing there? What's your secret?" And she was also a meditation teacher. She wound up teaching meditation to the whole oncology staff there.
Wow.
Now, the other thing is we want to distinguish between pain and suffering. Okay? And even in the law, when you're whatever, you're injured in a traffic accident, you sue the other driver for pain and suffering.
Right.
So even our legal language recognizes that there's a distinction between pain and suffering. And there's a Buddhist saying that you may have heard, which is, pain is mandatory, suffering is optional. Okay?
Yeah, I often think it's being said by people who haven't had much pain.
Yeah. And it's funny because I hesitated to say that, because in a way I feel, having not been through a lot of chronic pain the way you have, I feel very unqualified to talk about this stuff. It's you're right, it can be kind of facile, kind of too easy to say. But having said that, and we won't make this the last thing we say about it, okay? But pain is, to a certain degree, the fact that we're in these bodies means that we're susceptible to having things happen that are going to hurt. The suffering is we could say the overlay, is what we bring what we bring to the suffering, what we lay over it. So one of the best examples is when when you tell little Jimmy, "Okay, little Jimmy, it's on Friday, we're going to take you to the doctor for your checkup." And he said, "Well, Mommy, am I going to get a shot?" And you go, "Yeah." And he goes, oh, is the shot going to be in my arm or in my tushy? And and then it's Monday, so little Jimmy's got all from Monday till Friday to get freaked out about getting a shot. Now, he's not experiencing pain till Friday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, he experiences suffering. Okay, the suffering of anticipation. Then afterwards, there's the suffering of memory. And during, right, because you know what you do when you get a shot, weirdly, we tend to concentrate all our attention on the one spot where the pain is and ignore all the parts where the pain isn't. So that also adds suffering. So just being aware of these dynamics a little bit, just knowing, okay, there's pain and there's suffering, and discriminating between the two a little more clearly, and paying a little bit of more attention to, okay, to what degree am I generating the suffering, and can I let up on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that can be very powerful.
I was going to say my specific question tonight would be, like, if I'm having pain during the meditation, that's the time when it's so distracting, and it's hard to consider it just another thing passing. Whereas a sound in the room is a little bit easier to let, just not pay attention to, or
yeah, sure,
or
and
not let go, not grab onto, whatever.
Yeah, and absolutely, that makes perfect sense. A passing airplane is one thing, a barking dog is one thing, a chronic and perhaps chronic, perhaps sporadic, perhaps mild, perhaps intense pain somewhere in your body, that's more challenging.
But I will say something positive about that tonight, though, because I had the same kind of neck pain tonight I had last week.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight I really tried to do what you were talking about, which is allow it to be just another thing in the awareness thing, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
and it has really gotten better.
All right.
So so the relaxation really has helped.
Okay. There's the light bulb for you.
Yeah.
There's tonight's aha moment for you.
Right. No, it really has helped.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm really happy to hear that. Okay. And the fact that that can happen to some degree, the fact that that can happen, even if it happens a little bit, and happens in
Let's
that
hope
one
so.
part of the body, it means it can happen more and it can happen in any part of the body.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
very hopeful.
yeah, yeah. I think to a large degree, okay, there's the pain and then the suffering, um, which we usually mix up with the pain and which seems to intensify the experience of the pain, comes from the resistance to it. It's like, oh, here comes that thing again. That resistance, now that makes a kind of a clenching, and that intensifies the unpleasantness of the whole thing.
Right.
And but you've experienced that now. You know how that goes. You know the ropes of the thing, and you just keep going with that. Keep going with that. And you're going to probably notice sometimes in meditation, you'll notice that clenching. And then, because we're more settled, we can notice these nuances of what's going on physically and mentally. We can notice it more clearly for the same reason that Esther reported the bell seemed louder, right? Because we're more settled, and things that are normally, so subtle that they're like below the threshold of our attention, we can experience them clearly. So you can more see what you're doing there. Oh, I'm clenching against this thing. What if I just relax your grip on it? I mentioned in this week's newsletter that went out this morning, that I just did my third of 3 appearances on my friend, the comedian Adam Ferrara, on his podcast. And the first one was on, what was it on? I don't know. The first 2 were on some little, right. The first was breathing through your feet. The second was a couple of mantras. And this one was relax your grip, loosen your grip. And it's so great that Adam has been getting these emails from people. I put one of them in the newsletter. Geez, I'm working at the front line as a nurse dealing with fear of the COVID-19 virus, and just relax your grip. It just really helped. I can't explain it, but it really helped, like turning on a switch. So that's simple. But you to relax your grip, to loosen your grip on the thing, you have to realize that you're gripping. Right? You have to notice that you've been doing it. Like you may have noticed this in a doctor's, when you're in the doctor's waiting room or the dentist's waiting room. You look around and you see people sometimes who are anticipating going in and getting test results or getting some, procedure or something, and you can see them as they're sitting in the seat, and I see that and I want to go up to them and say, come on, darling, just, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to yourself. But of course I can't do that. I'll get, in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it is a thing where I don't even realize it's happening, and then when I notice it, and I'm able to relax it, and it helps.
Yeah. And that is, it's so simple, but it's so powerful. Actually, more accurate to say, it's so simple and so it's so powerful. E equals MC squared is simple. It's simple. It's fundamental, and it's
easy for you to say.
I'm not saying it's easy to understand. It seems simple but impossible. Wait, energy is matter, matter is energy. I can't understand that, but apparently
and time goes backwards.
Yeah, the whole universe comes out of that equivalence of matter and energy. So so again, the simple stuff's powerful also because we can do it. And it's good to pack these practices into these simple slogans, practice slogans that we can remember, like whatever's there, just rest aware, right? Or relax your grip. Simple. Relax your grip. Relax your grip. Relax back into yourself, and relax back into what is the self. When we relax back into our self, right? That's awareness. Awareness without an object. One of the most life-changing things that happens as we continue to explore with this kind of practice through the meditation and the insight is that we're not what we thought we were. That's the whole shooting match right there. Once we get, oh, I thought I was a body, I thought I was a bundle of memories and attitudes and personality, but no, those are all objects. Those are objects of awareness. Those are thoughts. Those are, sights and sensations and so forth. But what I am is the awareness that's aware of all that. And that has no shape, it has no sound, and it has no color, no sound, and no sensation, right? And the sensations include pain. Pain is a sensation. So this kind, through the relaxing our grip and so forth, a lot of the intensity of the pain may go away because we're not clenching against it. But on the deeper level, the more fundamental level, ultimately, is even if the pain is still there, it becomes experientially clear to us that we are not it. We are not that. That we are simply awareness, and that awareness itself is not affected by the stuff that comes and goes within it. Just as the sky is not affected by a gentle breeze that blows across it, and the sky is not affected by a violent thunderstorm or tornado. Even a tornado doesn't dent the sky. And as it becomes more and more clear to us through our insight and our experience that what we are is sky-like awareness, then the stuff it's happening, but that's not us. And you find expressions of that in all the meditative traditions, all the spiritual traditions. I think I quoted this one last week from the Gospels, where Jesus says, "Fear not, for I have overcome the world." Right? Now that makes no sense if we take it on the surface level. This guy didn't overcome the world. On the surface level, the world overcame him. He was taken and tortured to death in a very horrible way. Right? But if we understand it this way, I think it makes perfect sense. The world means all those objects, the objects of awareness. And I have overcome the world means I have realized that what I am is not that. And I believe that's why, according to the story, even as he was being crucified, instead of his response being, "Ouch, crap, that hurts," his response is to look down on the ground at the people who were not being crucified and say, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." Right? He could see that the others were caught up in ignorance, and therefore they were caught up in suffering. He was being crucified, so he had pain. But I think he did not have suffering because he was there, he was enlightened, he was awake. He had all these expressions describing that I and the Father are one, right? I, what I am, and the Father, the source, the infinite, are not two. We're one.
Yeah, isn't it nice that I actually believe in all of that?
Yeah. And it turns out that when you don't take it on the kind of comic book level that people usually get it in, in Sunday school or whatever, when we start getting it on the level of our own experience, we go, oh, this makes perfect sense. And it's good news. That's what the word gospel means. Good news. This is the best of possible news.
It's nice to remember.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's all we're doing here is we're reminding ourselves. And we're on the buddy system. We're reminding each other. Next week when I'm having some whatever medical issue or something, Judy, you'll remind me.
I don't know about that, but thank you.
You bet. Thank you. We're all in it together. Okay. Okay. So, Laura.
Hi there. Can you see
Hi.
me okay?
Yeah.
I'm sequestered in a dark corner of my house.
Uh-huh.
But it's funny because I wanted to talk about the bell because when you struck it this evening, I thought to myself, oh, what a gift. And it felt like a warm hand on my shoulder, like just a lovely thing. And then I thought, and Esther was talking about it, and I thought, oh, wait a second. That just means I wasn't deep enough, and I immediately did this whole, okay, I'm new at this. I'm kind of,
Uh-huh.
a little bit of a pretender. And then I started thinking, I've always kind of wanted one of those bells, and would it even work if I rang my own bell? And I just went down this whole funny place. But then I thought I brought myself back to how I felt when I heard it, which
Right.
was just, it didn't surprise me. It did not surprise me. It was a warmth, like I was being cared for. It was lovely. So
Lovely.
thank you.
Sure. And all I'm doing is, hitting a stick against some metal.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
And people have all these different reactions.
I know.
Now, once again, as I said before, never let anyone talk you out of your own experience,
Mm-hmm.
including me.
Right.
Right. So, I described Esther's reaction as, oh, okay, normally you'd hear a bell and not be startled, but you settle deeper, so you are startled. But maybe you go deeper still. Your insight gets deeper. And then once again, you're not startled.
Mm-hmm.
There's this famous saying in Zen that before you embark on all your practice, the mountains are mountains and valleys are valleys. Then you get in the middle of practice, in the middle of the whole awakening path, and mountains are no longer mountains, valleys are no longer valleys. But then finally, when you complete the path and you're awake, once again, mountains are mountains and valleys are valleys. Okay. Now, there's a lot of applications of this. And one of them could be, in this case, okay, we're no meditation, no nothing. We hear a bell. It's a lovely little thing. And then we get, somewhere in the middle of the path, and then we get deeper still. We complete the path or something. Once again, it's lovely. Okay. See, the thing is that it's a dynamic process. The whole progression of our experiential waking up and the waking up of our insight, our insight into what's what. Before we start practice, right, when the mountains are mountains and valleys are valleys, it's like we're one little wave on the ocean. You know, I'm a little wave here. I'm the Dean wave, and out wherever you are, Palos Verdes, Pacific Palisades. I always get those
Mhm.
mixed up. Which one are you?
Pacific, the Pacific Palisades.
Palisades. Okay. Um, you know, there's the LoRa wave, and you know,
Mhm.
here's the wristwatch wave, and here's the iPhone wave, and here's the microphone wave, and so forth. We live in a world of waves, separate things.
Mhm.
As one cynical philosopher once said, life is just one damn thing after another. Okay. And we're one thing navigating through a world of other things, trying to avoid colliding with the things that produce pain and promote pain and suffering, and trying to find the things that collide with the things that give us pleasure. Maybe try to accumulate things and, you know, become the richest thing owner on the block, and that makes us feel like our thing will live forever, which of course doesn't work. A world of things. As we start to realize that that doesn't work, as we start to realize that eventually all things must fall apart, all things must pass, every wave eventually will crash against the shore and die, or something happens to make, for a lot of people there has to be something, some kind of bottoming out, something unsatisfactory in our life of things, in our world of waves on the surface, to make us want to look deeper within, to make us realize, oh wait, underlying all these waves with their constant churning and motion and you know, and their impermanence, underlying it is this ocean. And the ocean doesn't churn. The ocean just is. It's only on the surface, the waves that churn. The ocean just is. And the ocean doesn't die. The ocean doesn't crash against the shore and die. The ocean goes on and on. And then the life among the waves is always noisy. And here, even just settling a little bit into the ocean, it's still, it's peaceful. Ah. And that's called meditation. Right? So first, noise, waves, feeling like we're separate individual things. Then there's this, we discover meditation one way or another. We may not even call it meditation. We may just be, you know, sitting under the apple tree one day, and or out weeding the garden, or running out, you know, running a marathon, and something go into the so-called zone, and you're playing your guitar, and you somehow you settle into that place, that silence underlying everything. And it's so great. Okay. But then we have to come out. We're back among the waves again. Oh, how am I going to get back there? And so if you fell into that accidentally through playing the guitar or whatever, you might want to find a more systematic way, and a way that you can do even whether you've got your guitar in hand or not. So maybe you'll find meditation, where we're just basically doing nothing, just hanging out, just resting, whatever's there, just rest aware. And so we start being able to stay there for longer and longer periods. It starts getting clearer and clearer. And most important, we start to notice that even when we come out for the other 23 hours of the day into the world of waves, more and more we're not losing contact with the silence of the ocean. Somehow, and every one of you that's been doing this for a while, you've got some sense of this, some sense that even as you're dealing with work and relationships and medical challenges and this thing and that thing, somehow it's not so overwhelming as it used to be. It's still the same stuff, it's still the same waves, but more and more you're rooted in that ocean, so you're not overwhelmed by the waves. More and more that silence is you're connected to it, even when you're out here being active. Now, eventually you could get to a place where you have the full awareness of the fullness, the vastness, the infinitude, the infinite silence, the infinite okayness of the ocean, even as you continue to function in the waves. Then technically you don't have to meditate anymore. You know, that was just a provisional thing. Why should you have to sit and do this silly thing, close your eyes and ring bells and all that, just to know what you are? Right? So eventually you technically you don't have to. You still do it because it's refreshing and it's good for the health of the body and so forth, and provides a good example for other people so that they don't start going, oh, the really cool guy, the cool kids don't meditate, right? The enlightened cool kids don't meditate. No, you continue to provide the good example. And also, by continuing to practice and continuing to sharpen our experience and our insight, there's a deeper level of awakening. Right? First, we had just waves. Then in meditation, we have just ocean. That's why it's shocking to hear the bell, because we've been, separated from the world of all that stuff, and then it's startling to come back. So first, only waves, then ocean, only ocean, then more and more waves and ocean, ultimately fullness of the ocean along with the fullness of the waves. But there's one more really deepest level of awakening to be had, which is realizing, well, what are waves made out of? They're made out of ocean. So even to say waves along with ocean, ocean along with waves, is not getting to the heart of the matter. Right? To say, okay, there's, as we were saying in the meditation, there's the two things. There's the awareness and there's the objects. Right? But ultimately, even that's not true. Ultimately, awareness and objects are not two separate things. They're one thing. They're one thing. They're the same. Their beingness. There's all the waves, everything you experience, the pictures on the wall, the books, the sounds, the sensations. They're all just made out of awareness. It's a very simple thing, actually. They're just awareness arising in these different waves, arising as a wave of hearing, arising as a wave of seeing. I mean, seeing is a form of awareness. There's nothing mysterious about it, nothing mystical about it. Seeing is a form of, it's a mode of awareness. Feeling is a mode of tasting, thinking, thought. What are thoughts made of? Think right now, everybody. Okay, think of a bowl of soup. Okay? Now think of a bowl of mud. Okay? Now, is the thought of a bowl of soup made out of soup? Is the thought of a bowl of mud made out of mud? No, they're both made out of awareness. Both of both thoughts are just the same awareness, which has no qualities, arising in forms with different qualities, arising as the soup quality, arising as the mud quality. It's all just awareness. And it becomes more and more clear to us that that's all that's ever going on. All we ever experience. Do you ever experience anything outside of your awareness? No. And by definition, if we're having an experience, it's something we're aware of. Right? So, the more that happens, the more nothing that happens is external to us. Everything is intimate. Everything is because as it becomes more clear that all we experience is awareness, and that awareness is the objects are awareness, and the experiencer is awareness. How much distance is there? Right now, how much distance is there between you and your thought of a bowl of soup? There's no distance. How much distance is there between you and the sensation of your butt on the seat? There's no distance. Now, how much distance is there between the sensation of the butt on the seat and the thought of the soup? Now you might go at this point, well, wait a minute. The thought is up here in my head, and the butt on the seat that's down here at my butt. So there's a couple 3 feet or with it wherever that is. But is a thought actually in your head? Is that really your experience? That's something to look at. That's something to play with. That's homework. That's homework. Or is this idea that thoughts are experienced in your head, is that just another thought? We're getting into the deep stuff here. I know this is the advanced course now. So if it's just confusing, fine, don't worry about it. You'll get many more chances to come back to this stuff. Ultimately, all we have to know is, whatever's there, just rest aware. Everything's fine. But can you see that as everything that happens is more and more intimate to us, and ultimately there's no separation, then nothing can, so to speak, challenge the awareness. Everything it's the ultimate friendliness. Everything is friendly. And so the ringing of the bell is not going to startle you, because nothing's going to startle you. Everything's going to be that warm hand on your shoulder, because everything it's all the same. It's all the same thing. It's all you. It's all home. Okay? Is any of this resonating?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. Good. So this was an extended riff on the bell did not startle me.
It was great.
Good.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, and how are we doing for time here? Okay, it's 5 of. Okay, Kathy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, so right, let me get this straight. So the waves and the ocean and being aware that they're the same, being in that awareness, or well, intellectually, it's not hard to, follow what you were saying, but really being aware of it. Aren't we talking about something like a Dalai Lama type of enlightenment or not?
Enlightenment does not come in flavors.
Okay, but
this is not like going to Ben and Jerry's and saying, okay, I want the Cherry Garcia enlightenment. Enlightenment is being awake to the self, and yes, we could also say, this is Dalai Lama enlightenment. What makes the Dalai Lama is he's awake to this, but the whole point, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's incredibly fortunate to have someone, especially like our current Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, who is just such a beautiful exemplar of this kind of awakened life. But the whole point of having these awakened beings around is to inspire us to realize we can do that too. Everything that you're seeing in the Dalai Lama, when you see that sweetness and that serenity and that tireless effectiveness, that tireless working for the liberation of all beings from suffering, that's us. That is a mirror of your true nature. And that's what you awaken to. So that's the Dalai Lama enlightenment. That's the Kathy enlightenment.
Yeah, but he has it. I don't always have it. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's why we keep practicing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There's an old saying, the saints are sinners who persisted.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So we can say the Dalai Lamas, the Buddhas, right?
Yeah.
Buddha with a small c. All the Buddhas are just regular Joe, regular Kathy meditators who sat down every day and did their practice. And then when they came out of their practice, they, had a certain attitude of, now what's going on here? I'm feeling suffering, as we were discussing before. What's going on? How am I? Is there to some degree to which I'm facilitating that and I can start to let go of that? And who am I? What am I? Am I this body that I thought I was, and this bundle of memories and attitudes and personality quirks I thought I was? Or am I this awareness that's aware of that? You know, we start playing with these things and we more and more grow into it. So, you know, a Buddha is just a regular old meditator who persisted. And just one final point. It's
Okay.
great having, I mean, you know, you see my altar. I've got pictures of all kinds of, you know, characters, some of them actual living, some of them are, you know, characters with heads of elephants and and things, and flying upside down Lord Shivas and things, all to help me stay inspired. But what's really important is to not put them up on a pedestal, not go, oh, the Dalai Lama, he's, you know, he can be like that because he's the Dalai Lama, and therefore you know, I could never be like that. No, that's exactly the opposite of what they're around for. They're here to remind us, just like we were saying before, you know, with Judy. It's all, we just here to remind each other, oh, this is what you are. Keep on the path.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, we'll be doing this Thursday at 4:30 Pacific. Also, some of you have been participating in our Vajrasattva training for the last 2 Sundays. That will go on for this coming Sunday at least. I think probably a couple of more Sundays. If you're interested, if you go to my website, the previous Vajrasattva sessions are up there on my YouTube channel. So all that's there. Okay. So hang on. May all beings swiftly realize their true nature, that the wave they thought they were is the ocean of vast, infinite okayness, and that all other waves are that same ocean, and thus may peace, the end of all conflict, when we realize we're all that same one, may that spontaneously arise. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
See you
Thank you. Thank
around.
you.
Thank
Mwah.
Enjoy being.
you.
Bye-bye.
Too.
Bye, y'all.